Hi, I'm Mark, this is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a review of the TADO Smart Radiator Valve. Now, a couple of months ago I brought you guys a review of the TADO Smart Heating System, and I said I was going to do a follow-up review for some of the radiator valves, which I also purchased at the same time. Now, if you're not familiar with a thermostatic radiator valve, they are a way of choosing how much water goes into your radiator, and therefore how much heat your radiator puts out. Traditionally, they are kind of twist knobs on the side of your radiator, and are a way of making sure that you can control the temperatures in your individual rooms a bit more accurately. This is useful if maybe you have a guest room you don't use very often, and you just don't want the radiator on in that room all of the time. Of course, the less rooms you're heating, the more money you're saving. Now, the TADO radiator valves are a way of doing this with your smartphone rather than having to twist those knobs. This also gives you a bit more temperature control. Now, they do retail at about £50 to £60 each, which isn't cheap, and I don't think there's any way they're going to save you that amount of money compared to a traditional valve on your heating bill. This means they are very much a bit of a smart home luxury and a way of saving a little bit and being a bit more environmentally friendly rather than something that's going to help bring your heating bills down massively. If you don't already have TADO Smart Heating, you don't need it, but you will need a bridge for these to work on their own. TADO sells starter packs with a radiator valve and a bridge packaged together if you need one. So what does the Smart Radiator Valve do? Essentially, you attach it to a radiator and it will make sure that the temperature of that room doesn't go above a certain level. For example, if you put it in a room that you only want to be up to 18 degrees, if it hits 18 degrees, it will shut off heat to that radiator. The device itself is white with rounded edges and it looks super modern. It's also roughly the same size as your average thermostatic radiator valve, although a little bit thicker. It has built-in Wi-Fi for connecting to the hub, and it's got humidity and temperature sensors. It's powered by 2 AA batteries, and TADO claim these can last for up to 2 years. Now, I haven't been able to test that because I've only been using this for about 8 months. However, so far my battery life is still rated as good in the app, which is a good time to mention that you can see the battery status for your valves in the TADO app. Now, the valve is controlled in 2 ways. It's either controlled by your smartphone using your smart heating schedule or the manual settings, or it's controlled by twisting the top of it. When you twist the top of it, the little LED display lights up and you can see what temperature you want to set your room to. One of the things I really like about this valve is that this display is pretty much invisible unless you twist it. This is thanks to the LED style they've gone with. There's also the option in the app to lock this top twisty bit, which means children can't accidentally turn up your heating. So how easy is the smart thermostatic valve to install? If you've already got thermostatic radiator valves, then installing one takes less than 5 minutes. It's as simple as unscrewing your existing one and adding the TADO one on instead. From then on, you just connect the TADO one using the app in your phone. You can then name which room it's in and it just appears on that TADO home screen. If you don't already have thermostatic radiator valves, you're probably going to need a plumber to come and fit these for you. Once you've got it set up, when you open the TADO app, you see your rooms on that main display. You can then boost all of them, or you can go into them individually and change your temperature. You can also set the regular schedules, and there's also options for things like early start mode or when you're away from your home. If you want a more in-depth look at this app, then do check out my review of the TADO Smart Thermostat. But essentially, whatever temperature you set the radiator valve to in the app is what temperature it will heat your room up to. It's worth saying that this works better if you've got smart heating installed, especially the TADO system. If you haven't got smart heating installed, then it will still turn those valves on and off, but whether it heats your room is going to depend on if your central heating is on. Let me explain what I mean. If you've got a room set to heat to 19 degrees, but your heating isn't on and the room is 17, whilst the valve will turn on, because your heating isn't on, that radiator won't heat up. This is where having the smart heating with it works much better, because it can turn on your heating at the same time. The app itself is well thought out and nice and easy to use. Setting up the schedules can be a little bit fiddly, but you do get your head around it eventually. And generally, once your schedule is set up, it's set up. There's also the addition of Amazon and Google voice assistants and the ability to use it via Apple Home app. This is great for giving you a wide variety of ways you can control your heating. In using these for 8 months, I've found that they keep a pretty reliable connection and I've not had any issues with them at all. If you contrast this to the Hive radiator valves, which have got some terrible reviews, this is actually pretty impressive. The other thing worth mentioning is that when they do turn on and off, because there are moving parts, there is a slight mechanical noise. Now, this isn't particularly loud and I don't think it will wake anyone up, but it is just worth mentioning if you are a super light sleeper. But then if you're a super light sleeper, you're probably being woken up by everything anyway. So what's the verdict, and should you buy one? If you are already a TADO Smart Heating user, then I would recommend picking some of these up because they give you greater control over the rooms in your house. Personally, I've got one in the bedroom because I like the bedroom to be a bit cooler, and I've also got one in the living room because I like it to be a bit warmer. You could go all out and put one in every single room, however I think it's worth thinking about which rooms you actually need one in. This is important given the cost of these, although you can save money by buying them in packs of 3. If however you don't have TADO smart heating, then I'd actually recommend looking at getting this at the same time. And I say that because really the features of the smart valves are very much limited by whether your heating is on or not. And so if everything is working together, it actually creates a much more efficient smart home for you. Whereas just having the valves isn't really going to make a big difference. All in all, for those wishing to make their smart home heating even smarter, then these are certainly worth checking out. And I've had no issues with these at all. If you guys do want to pick one up, I have put a link to some of the various packs below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. If you guys have got any questions, do put a comment below. I only review tech on this channel that I actually use, unless I tell you guys otherwise. That means for this product, this is something I've purchased myself. This is something I'm going to be using on an ongoing basis. And so if I have any issues with it, I'll also put that down below. I will see you guys again soon.